Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany after reviewing rare and exotic whiskeys. This is not that rare or exotic, but it's actually has arrived in Germany about 8, 9 months ago. And I have only now found the time to review it. So sorry for being so late for this, but that's the way that is. So over here we have the Ode to the Valley. So they take their normal sherry cask and then they add a portion of their port casks to it. So we have here a total of, I have to read the box here if I can find out, 46.2% ABV. Over here we have a pure Pedro Jimenez PX maturation. Full maturation. That is very, very good. We like that. Over here we have a little bit more. We have 50.8% ABV. We like that even more. So while I'm talking, why not pour this as well and talk about them at the same time? So just add a little bit. And then over here we have Ode to the Embers. Not amber, not that color. It's actually embers from the fire, think of smoky and peatiness. Because this whiskey here, actually with 48.4%, has the peated moments here involved in it. Now, if you've ever watched any of my videos, one of the favorite things I like to do is just pull out Glendronach 12 and compare it to other things. 45 euros over here in Germany at the moment. It used to be 35, now it's 45, but still it's a good price for a good product. And I often find the Glendronach 12 better. Now, I can't pull out the 12 at the moment. I don't have any available, but I can pull out the 15. This is going to cost you about 15 euros more, at least in Germany, than these products. But it does have an age statement. None of these have age statements. So over here, we do have still the Glendronach peated. Many people don't know that there's actually a core range product, it used to be core range at least, of peated whiskey from Glendronach. So this is not so unusual. They don't distill it 24/7 over there, but they do distill it. Oh, talking about distillation, Brown-Forman actually bought the distillery 9 years ago, and about 2 years ago they started their renovations works, which means first of all they added new silos, they updated everything for the grain, transport, milling, and so on. Now at the moment, if you go to Glendronach in September, October of 2025, it will be a massive, massive building site because they are expanding. They're doubling the capacity of the distillery. A new wash, so a new mash tun is being installed. New washbacks are being installed. New spirit still, wash still is being installed. All the piping, all the control for everything's being added so that the capacity will go from about 2 million. I think in 2022 they did 1.95 million liters of alcohol, and it's going to move up to 4 million liters. So thank you, Brown-Forman, for actually investing in that distillery and doubling capacity even in this difficult, turbulent time. And we expect good things here from the Glendronach distillery. At the moment, their wash stills are actually a little dumpy, a little bit almost like squirted, pressed together. The line arm, at least for the wash still, goes down at a very sharp angle. The spirit still goes down at a very, very slight angle. It's a heavier spirit, and this heavier spirit works very, very well with sherry casks. And if you look back in the 1960s, Glendronach was actually in connection with the brand we know today as Teachers. Then it was Allied Dominique. They sold it, or that was actually given or whatever, that merged back together with Pernod Ricard. Pernod Ricard sold it then to Billy Walker. Every single distillery Billy Walker ever bought was from Pernod Ricard. Isn't that interesting? And Billy Walker sold his Ben Riach, his Glendronach, and his Glenglassaugh distilleries to Brown-Forman. And Brown-Formans have had these now since 2016. So it's been 9 whole years and very soon 10 years under the leadership of Brown-Forman that we have this, and Rachel Berry in particular. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to nose these first, and then I'm going to try them and review them and give you a little bit of information. Let's start off here with the nice little interesting Ode to the Valley. Now, Ode to the Valley is here. I need to make sure I can get up here. Whiskey base number 265,629, sorry. And it has a rating of 82.2%. Now, 82.2% is not great. So I get a little bit of sulfur in the nose. I get a little bit of chalkiness. I get a little bit of minerality. I get raspberries and strawberries from the sherry and from the port influence. So we have the normal Glendronach aged in sherry and then basically finished in port here. No age statement. What does it mean? Did they take 18-year-old whiskey, mixed it with 4-year-old whiskey? Did they take 3-year-old whiskey and mix it with 6-year-old whiskey and say, ta-da? I really don't know. And no one reviews or released anything online at all about that. And I think that's a little bit of a shame, but we can only name the youngest whiskey in there, so that's that. On the nose, we should be getting, and I'm going to read from the official glendronachdistillery.com website here, late summer berries and chocolate de leche. That's milk chocolate. Why don't they just write it? Embedded with sweet deramera, that's just brown sugar, and apricot glaze. All right. Going over here to our Ode to the Dark. Ode to the Dark is whiskey base number 265,630, 50.8%. I have the saying called Pedro Jimenez PX makes everything better. You can take a vodka and put it into PX, finish it for a year, and take it out. Well, that's good. I really like that. That sherry influence is very nice. You can take crappy whiskey and put it into a PX cask, and it'll turn into okay whiskey. You can take okay whiskey, put it in a PX cask, and it'll be good whiskey. And you take great whiskey and put it in PX, very good PX cask, it can turn into absolutely mind-boggling whiskey. I like Pedro Jimenez, and this is a full maturation with Pedro Jimenez. This is good. This has a lot of mocha. This has a little bit of chocolate, dark chocolate on there. That is nice. Once again, if I may read the official tasting notes here. It says here, a symphony of mocha, black cherry, and dark chocolate precede creme brulee with raisins, yep, brown sugar, yep, and ginger. Don't get the ginger at all in the nose. All right, and that was here. The whiskey base rating at the moment is 85.4. So 250 people have rated that so far. Last but not least is the Ode to the Embers. An ode is just a song or a poem of victory and of positivity. So Ode to the Embers. So yes, we're singing a song here to sherry and smoke. Whiskey base 265,628. This has a higher rating than this, 82.2, 83.2 basically, at 130 submissions so far. The peatiness is there, the smokiness is there, it's like a bonfire, a little bit of the ashes afterwards, and you have a nice sherry moment. It's not bad. I don't like sherry. I don't like peated whiskeys, but that is, on the nose at least, better than the Ode to the Valley. On the official website here we have, so Ode to the Embers, cinnamon spice toffee, didn't get that. Apple, didn't get that. Caramelized walnut, brittle, intertwine with, I don't get caramelized walnut brittle. Flamed orange, maybe. That's something I wouldn't have had the flamed orange, but I know, yeah. On a smoldering open fire. Yes. Okay. So let's go to the valley here. Ode to the Valley. So cheers. I get sulfur in the mouth, bitter kite. I do get astringency, a little bit of sourness, a little bit here of that raspberry moment from the port. I do get a little bit of that sherry moment, but it's just not. And there's an artificial sweetener moment towards the end, like a stevia or something. No. I gave this actually in my German video a C minus. No, I give it a D plus. I'm gonna give it a D plus here as well. The palate is, according to Rachel Berry and Glendronach Distillery, sip blackberry and roasted apple crumble with freshly baked gingerbread and sweet damson plum. Okay, I can get the plum. I don't know what damson plums are, but I no. This is not a whiskey I want. This is not a whiskey I need. This is not a whiskey I'm going to actually recommend. This is a whiskey I'm going to warn people about and say, stay away from the Valley, Ode to the Valley from Glendronach. Buy the 12-year-old Glendronach and you will be happier. You can get 1.5 bottles for that for the price of this stuff. It's not even mediocre. It's actually below par whiskey. I think Glendronach can do better than that. All right, let's go over to the Ode to the Dark. So, Ode to the Dark, Pedro Jimenez makes everything better. So, did this get better through the Casks full maturation here? I forgot to mention it seems young, almost metallic. This has more age. This has more depth. Now it's a little bit of the Pedro Jimenez syrup casks. It's got an artificial type of sherry moment going on in there, but it's good. There's just a little bit of for me, too much of a coffee mocha aftertaste. It might be European oak, I don't know. It says velvet layers of smooth espresso and cream caramel fold back into black grape and mint chocolate ganache. I don't have any mint. It's also a thing I just don't use, ganache. So yeah, I know what it is. I've watched some cooking shows, but it's just like, oh, okay. Nice. This is actually a C plus B minus whiskey. Oh, by the way, the box. It doesn't even close properly anymore. These are just kind of cheap things here. I don't know. Do we really need these? I mean, yeah, I guess in the shelving units they look good and so on. But anytime I try to open it, this one side always pops up, and I gotta really push it in there. And when the bottle's in there, it doesn't really do much good, anyways. All right. Ode to the Ember. Let's do the last one here. The Embers. Excuse me. Watch me rate this with peat higher than this with port. And I love port, and I'm not a fan of all of peat. I get a coastal type of peat, a little bit like seaweed type of moment. It has a little bit of a saltiness. It's almost as if you're using a driftwood that had some algae on it for your bonfire. That's what I'm getting here. The sherry moment is there. A little bit of a plum moment, a little bit of a strawberry type of cherry type of fruity mix there. This is a solid B. I normally don't like peated whiskeys, and yet I would take this any day of the year over this. This just such a disappointment for me. This is okay. This is good. Hey, you can't go wrong with Pedro Jimenez. It says here, for the Embers, Ode to the Embers, the official tasting notes are raisin and honeyed walnut meld with bramble ganache and smoked chocolate fudge. The smoke is not really over evident. On the nose, it was actually almost more than on the palate. This is not a 50 ppm. This is like a 15 ppm product here. That is actually a solid C. Now, value for money. It's interesting enough that the value Masters of Malt is cheaper than Germany, which does not hardly at all ever happen. So here are Ode to the Embers in the UK. We're running about, I found it for £55. All right, so in Germany it's going to be 65 euros. That's the price over here for the Embers. The Ode to the Valley, £57. Over here in Germany, 65 euros. And the Ode to the Valley, also here, the cheapest is with £67 here by Master of Malt. And over here in Germany, we're talking about 69. That's more like 74 was the original price here. Actually, 77 was the original price, but yes. And yes, if you want to buy it in Australia, 159 Australian dollars here by the whiskey company. So, value for money, I would definitely go for the Glendronach 12. I would go for the Ode to the Dark, Ode to the Embers, and I would avoid the Ode to the Valley. Just not my cup of tea. So my question today is, these are all no H statements. Try to buy the products from Glendronach with an H statement if you can for an okay price. My question is, what products would you recommend? I still highly recommend here our nice little 12-year-old. Now, over here in Germany, we've just received the new version of the 21-year-old, 238 euros. We've just received the new version of the 18-year-old, 158 euros. For a couple months ago, we received the 15-year-old. It's 80 some euros. The 12 is 45 euros. And we have here our nice little ode to these. Blessed be those that actually have a case of the 18-year-old or a case of the 21-year-old from 10 years ago in their basement someplace. These people had an exceptional view of the world that made them be able to purchase something for maybe even your children one day. Unfortunately, I did buy actually a case of each, and I've done whiskey tastings, and I've used most of my bottles up in the last 7 to 8 years. It just hurts my soul to see a 21-year-old Glendronach go for 230 euros. Remembering I paid 88 euros for it 8 years ago. And the doubling of the prices is what really, really hurts, and the quality of the whiskey actually has gone down. Billy Walker had to, in order to keep his age statements, had to overage his whiskeys. That means in the 18-year-old, there was sometimes up to 23-year-old. In the 21-year-old, there was 25-year-old whiskey in there. That made a difference, and we did not understand it. At least I did not understand at the time. Glendronach used to be underpriced and overaged. We whiskey geeks were blessed with excellent whiskeys at a very, very, very good, almost even too good of a price. And we were spoiled. We were spoiled with that opportunity. And all those people who actually stashed away some bottles from those times, aren't you just blessed? We that are now entering in this world go, oh, look at this. And it's just like, well, no, not Glendronach. We gravitate to where Billy Walker is now and take a look at Glenallachie. We take a look at their 10-year-old cask strength. We take a look at their 12-year-old. We take a look at their 18-year-old. We take a look at their 21-year-old. Still not there. But the 15-year-old definitely is. The 10-year-old cask strength. The 12-year-old, one of the best 12-year-old sherried whiskies out there I know of for value for money in Scotland. That's where the music is playing at the moment, at least for me and my palate. What do you recommend for Glendronach? And second of all, what has replaced Glendronach on your shelves in your glass? Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, telling others about this crazy guy over here in Germany, reviewing often rare and exotic whiskeys. Bye-bye.